This guy needs a lesson. Oof. All right. So these videos are from this weekend, and they are so beautiful to watch. Jim Jordan went on Meet the Press, and Chuck Todd has, if you guys watched any of the White House Correspondents' Dinners or any criticism of Chuck Todd, it's always that he doesn't push back, that he lets people come in and just say whatever they want to say, and he lets them get away with it. But with the Republicans taking control of Congress, and with them choosing to create this weaponization of the government committee that is just a complete joke of a committee, I guess his mind has been changed. And so let's watch Chuck Todd push back against Jim Jordan and the investigations that they want to start into Biden, and also just his nonstop lies.
They raided Trump's home. They haven't raided Biden's home.
Because Biden didn't defy a subpoena, Congressman. He defied a subpoena. By the way, he had 60 days to comply with the subpoena before they actually executed
President
the search
Trump
warrant.
had documents locked in a room with Secret Service protecting them. President Biden had documents in his garage and in a think tank that was funded by the Chinese. I think there's a difference. President Trump was the only guy who was actually president.
You talk about that. You're worried about the Chinese and Hunter Biden.
I'm just saying.
Are you worried about the Chinese and Donald Trump?
They took pictures of.
Are you at all worried about that?
No, I'm not. But they took pictures of the documents at Trump's house. They took no pictures of documents. In fact, it's not just me who would like to know what went on here. Senator Warner said it last week. He would like to get a briefing. He wants to see the documents. And guess what? The FBI is saying no, but they took pictures of the folders in Trump's home.
The issue is not whether what Joe Biden did.
No, the issue is equal treatment under the law. That's the issue.
No, the issue is
treatment under the law.
You do not seem to ever see the same conspiratorial problems when it's a Republican.
Those were all investigated for 4 years, and they continue to do it.
Their Durham investigation investigated everything you're trying to investigate and came up with nothing. Do you not trust Bill Barr and Mr. Durham?
The Mueller investigation, we had 2.5 years of this, and they were going to find Russian collusion, and guess what? They can't. Even though Adam Schiff told us,
the Durham investigation did not come up with any. They investigated all these concerns that you had about the FBI, about made-up snitches, all these things. They didn't find anything. Why is it that you want to reinvestigate it?
They found that Kevin Kleinsmith altered documents, and he pled guilty to it. That's finding. When you got someone at the FBI altering documents in front of the FISA court, that's not finding anything. That's pretty important, Chuck.
They did not find what you are claiming that is out there. Well, why couldn't Durham find it?
The Durham investigation is not done. The Mueller investigation is done. And what did he conclude? No collusion, no conspiracy, no coordination. And we had 19 lawyers, 30 agents, $40 million spent on that, and it consumed the country for 2.5 years, and there was nothing there.
Let me ask you about subpoena compliance.
Okay, so obviously that was a pretty good job of Chuck Todd pushing back and using the Durham investigation and using how big of hypocrites Republicans are, saying that, oh, so you don't want to investigate anything that Trump might have done, his ties to China? No, of course not, right? Of course not, because Jim Jordan is in Trump's back pocket. What I disagree with here is Chuck Todd not pushing back on what the Mueller report found, because the Mueller report didn't find no collusion, right? It said, Mueller and the report said that they had so much pushback and so much interference, basically obstruction of justice from the Trump White House, that they could not conclude anything, right? So, which is like a big difference. But of course, somebody who is just interested in investigating Joe Biden and Hunter Biden from a laptop produced by Rudy Giuliani is going to lie about everything. And it's Jim Jordan. He is one of the most pathetic people in Congress. There's also more from this interview.
Justice Department, Donald Trump did.
Oh, Elon. Dude, stop refreshing my Twitter feed. I'm sorry, guys. This is really annoying.
Roger Stone. He was the Justice Department, Donald Trump did, to go easy on Michael Flynn and Roger Stone. The Justice Department was pressured by Mark Meadows to investigate this election fraud. He even tried to change the leadership at the Justice Department. My point is, if you are concerned about the weaponization of the Justice Department in the Biden years, why not investigate the Trump years?
We're going to look at threats to the First Amendment. We're going to look at what Elon Musk, through the Twitter files, has displayed is unbelievable. The idea that the FBI was paying Twitter $3.4 million to help them suppress information.
That's not how it works.
Keep information from the American
Twitter to comply with subpoenas. That's the federal law.
Do you think it was okay?
That's a law Congress passed.
Do you think it's okay for the FBI to be meeting every week and suppressing information about a conservative and suppressing the Hunter Biden story, which we know is true? Do you think that's all right? I think most Americans say, no, that's probably information.
I understand, but this is a private organization that made this decision.
With pressure from the government. That's the point. I can understand a private organization can do it. I don't think it's right, but there shouldn't be pressure from the government. When is the FBI just going to stay out of election process? Just let we the people decide. Let the American people decide. In 2016, they spied on Trump's campaign. 2018, it was the Mueller investigation. 2020, they helped suppress the Hunter Biden story. 2022, they raided the home of a former president 91 days before an election. Maybe just let the American people decide. Maybe just stay out.
But you keep talking about this raid on Donald Trump. The amount of time, there was 9 months between the initial action that the archives made for a request of documents before they even turned it over to the Justice Department. The subpoena was issued 60 days before they actually executed the subpoena. And more importantly, the only time the public found out about it is because Donald Trump told the public about it. This was not some sort of, you paint it as a picture of the FBI did this, this, and this within hours of each other, when it was actually a year and a half of Donald Trump not complying with any of the requests from National Archives. A year and a half. This is not some sort of proof that somehow that they've weaponized and playing politics over here.
They raided Trump's home. They haven't raided Biden's home.
Because Biden didn't defy a subpoena, Congressman. He defied a subpoena. By the way, he had 60 days to comply.
Yeah, funny, isn't it, Jim Jordan?
When
you look like a donkey.
Trump had documents locked in a
when you look like a donkey. Okay, so the great thing about this is that because this committee is going to be, it's basically the Republicans' social media committee, right? Where they're just going to have their biggest firebombers out there just throwing, all sorts of conspiracies at the wall, and it's gonna rile up social media. And which is interesting that Jim Jordan is talking about the FBI interfering with Twitter to suppress the Hunter Biden story, when the whole point of this committee and the whole strategy of Jim Jordan is to lie and fearmonger about these Democrats and these investigations and these conspiracies, so that social media blows up and he gets mentioned and people are talking about, Hunter Biden and not, right, and not the Inflation Reduction Act, or not Republicans trying to, cut taxes, right, for the wealthiest people. It's their own way of manipulating social media, right? It's just the hypocrisy from these guys is just, it's utterly astounding when you really kind of zoom out and think about, what it is that they're doing. Of course, they're investigating, they want to investigate President Biden's the classified documents, and then, oh no, when it comes to Donald Trump's classified documents, oh, what? No way. So what this is, this committee, right, for the next couple of years, this committee is going to be, I'm going to be talking about this a lot on this channel, because there is going to need to be fact checks on these liars, right? But the beautiful thing about it is that Chuck Todd just easily displayed how you can just push back against these morons, right? How little they're working with. They're in such a weak position, right? You think, right, the way they speak and the way they get all fired up about, Hunter Biden and the Biden documents and the relationship with China and Eric Swalwell sleeping with the spy and Adam Schiff lied, and Ilhan Omar's the Muslim terrorist. Like it's when you really sift through and they get pushed back, you see that they're just a bunch of liars. And so what the real thing that we're going to be talking about, right, with this committee is not only their lies, but there are going to be moments where, you know, Democratic witnesses and Democratic lawmakers are going to push back, and it's going to look a lot like this. And this is, remember, this is from Chuck Todd, who, like, you know, he's supposed to be this, like, hey man, like I want to present you with, you know, some facts that may push back against your narrative. Democrats are going to be like vocal in their pushback of the Matt Gaetz, of the Marjorie Taylor Greens, of the Jim Jordans, of the I don't know if Gaetz is on this committee. But I'm pretty sure Jim Jordan will be one of the heads. So that was, you know, that was really the video that I really wanted to talk about today, because this is the you know, the crystal ball of what the committee on, you know, the weaponization of our government, this is what it's going to look like. And it's going to be Jim Jordan and these Republicans like fumbling around if they decide to go up against any of these Democratic witnesses. What'll probably happen is they'll call their Republican witnesses, and these guys will just go on and on and on. They'll use their 5 minutes, and then they'll go, you know, okay, so I'm going to ask you a question, right? Like, am I right? And then their witness will just, yeah. Oh yeah, and I'm really concerned about, you know, if voters don't do anything in this next election, like, you know, will this mean the end of our country, right? Like what Carrie Lake said, and what the PetSmart troll said, and what Tom Cotton said, right? Oh, our open borders. Oh, is there going to be a 9/11? Are we gonna, is this the end of the republic? Carrie Lake. Oh, if we don't get Donald Trump in, like, this is the end of the republic. Oh, be scared. Be scared. Truly pathetic. So yeah, that was the live stream. Thank you guys for watching. Rep Z, thanks for commenting, man. And thank you guys for liking the live stream. If you want to support the channel, you can become a member. You can subscribe. You can like the videos and share them. I'm also over at Patreon, and I'm on Facebook at ReflectVid. I think the links are down in the info description of the video. So yeah, I will. Maybe I'll do some more of these live streams. I'm having fun with this, and lots to talk about.